Born on a Saturday as well, but you didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Aries, you're an Aries.
Yes, I am.
And you dreamt you were married to Alan Titchmarsh.
I did.
Yes, thank you very much. Take a seat, go.
I've made a living out of giving the impression that I have paranormal abilities, but I don't. In my work, I use a mixture of magic, suggestion, psychology, misdirection, and showmanship. But there are people who do claim to have paranormal abilities. And in this series, I'm hitting the road to see if the extraordinary claims out there are the real deal. My first port of call, Liverpool, home to the Beatles, Stephen Gerrard, and psychic medium Joe Power, a man who claims he can communicate with the dead. Among the many he's made contact with is Liverpool's favourite son, John Lennon. Joe's been kind enough to allow me to spend the next few days with him. It promises to be extraordinary.
He's saying I'm 93.
He's coming.
Unexpected.
Is that he would have hung himself, this person. That, to me, is terrible.
And a little bit argumentative.
Joe, if you don't stand here and continue the conversation, you're not going to hear what I say in response to that.
In today's Britain, anyone can be a medium. You don't need a licence, you don't need any training. All you need is to be able to communicate with the dead. We're off into Liverpool to meet Joe. Joe Power, a medium. The claims that he makes are quite big, quite serious. Would love it to be true, would love to be blown away by what he does, and I'm really hoping that I'll see and hear stuff that I can't explain. In today's recession, psychic mediumship is a boom industry. Uncertain times mean more and more of us are turning to psychics for guidance and comfort. In cities everywhere, people are knocking on the door of the likes of 42-year-old medium Joe Power.
Hello!
Mr. Brown and myself, how are you?
Very good indeed, thank you so much.
You look so much bigger than what I expected.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, right, it's good to see you.
Bringing your magic powers into here. How are you, all right?
Very good. Oh, we've got a gorgeous place. Lived here a long time?
Say again, sorry?
Have you lived here a long time?
About 10 years now.
10 years?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You should know that with your magic powers. With your mind powers.
We'll have a magic off later.
Cup of tea.
Cup of
How many
tea.
Sugars?
No sugar, just milk, be lovely.
Just milk.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Can I use...
Be careful of them words, because I know in the way that you take us out. Yeah.
Anything could be happening.
Yeah, of course you can use the loo.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we'll cut that out.
This is a Mr. Brown cup of tea there. Better use my psychic powers to see if he wants it strong or medium. Come on, Mr. Brown, your tea's ready. Very quick, you see. I do, and I fully believe what I do as a medium.
Yeah.
I know there's charlatans out there, I know there's people being ripped off out there, but I fully believe what I do is contact dead people, and that's what you're going to see this week.
Joe's already built a substantial local profile as a medium, with regular radio, newspaper and stage appearances. He could be heading for the big time. But for the moment, like many self-employed mediums all over Britain, a lot of Joe's day-to-day work is reading for individuals or families looking to contact their deceased loved ones. Charging as much as £40 a time, Joe's job as a medium is to reveal insights and give messages from the spirit world. And tonight's my first chance to see how he communicates with the dead.
Now, you've mentioned sometimes that... I mean, obviously, I will leave you to this and not ask you loads of questions,
Yeah,
but you mentioned even as approaching a house, sometimes it can...
Sometimes I get an energy of a certain person coming through, feeling straight away that I'm going to be connecting to some type of dad energy, that type of feeling, but I won't know until I actually get in. Yeah. Hi, Joe Power for a reading.
So Joe's manager put forward several suggestions of new clients who had contacted her. From them, we chose 46-year-old Vanda for Joe to give a reading to.
Could I possibly use your loo very quickly?
While Joe's in the loo, I want to make sure that Vanda hasn't inadvertently given away personal information already.
These are my eldest daughters.
Hello. So just so people know, you've written to Joe requesting a reading, but you haven't given any information about...
Absolutely none whatsoever, because it would be completely pointless.
OK, lovely.
Right.
Please sit down.
You may get a number of people coming through. I don't know until I actually start, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing I picked up as soon as I got to your front door was a gentleman, but I feel it is a father-in-law in the spirit world. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
As soon as I got...
Joe's certainly quick out of the psychic starting blocks, making an instant connection with the spirit world.
Well, I don't know if he's making me aware of 7 kids or 7 children, but I'm aware of 7.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
7 in what is that? Is that
Children.
you?
Yeah.
You've got 7 children.
I've got 7 children.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
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 Okay, and he's mentioned 2 young babies that went to the spirit world as well.
Oh my God. Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
Absolutely.
just feeling that this gentleman actually coming through. Now, I must be aware is that I'm aware here of a mum coming through from the spirit world. Do you have your mother in the spirit world?
Yes.
Okay, I just feel like this lady needs to touch her. I feel like she needs to come through, and all I can hear is that she's shouting daughter. Okay, and she's telling me that she knows that you've been through a hard, emotional time, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
Okay, this lady's a bit wacky. She's giving me pea and ham soup here. So I don't know if she likes to have pea and ham soup, but this is the lady that's actually trying to actually come through. I'm not too quite sure with what she's saying here. I think she's taking me back to 1981.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Pope John Paul II.
Oh my God.
Pope John Paul II. Would
Yeah,
that make sense?
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Could you tell me what that is? Because obviously.
Yeah, we went to Crystal Palace to see the Pope. And my mother was so proud because she was thrilled to bits once this Polish Pope had been elected.
But what is unusual is that I'm seeing a gentleman here, and he looks like he's only just gone to the spirit world. He's saying I'm 93, 93 years of age. Okay.
Oh my God.
Would that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm only feeling around 93 years of age.
He was a friend, but he was what should we say, an elderly friend who I used to buy eggs off.
There's that many people coming in now. I don't know. You know, you basically got a room full of them. Yeah. Okay. But I'm more or less happy that your mum's come through to answer your prayers. Just to let you know is that she's fine.
Right.
And yes, she does think about you all the time. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And with that, I'm going to say God bless with you and thank you.
Thank you.
Is that okay for you?
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. That's it. I know it's a bit emotional sometimes, but
How are you? It was extraordinary listening to it. How are you feeling?
I feel as though I've been sitting with my mother face to face. The reference to this soup. I mean, basically, my mother was a gastronomic disaster in the kitchen, but I mean, she did try, you know.
So that must have been a good reading for you. I thought it was a fantastic reading.
it's something that I do from day to day. You can never judge a good reading.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that that's I feel like I've been comfort to people, and I feel like I feel good with it. I feel quite good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I suppose what it comes down to for me is that's either proof of your abilities and what you do is amazing and fantastic, or you've got someone to do research on her and it's horrible. So I'm
yeah, but obviously I've been doing this for 10 years.
Of course,
now,
and if you're doing
and
that
it's
every day,
reputation,
yeah, absolutely,
and that is what I do. Never seen the woman before, and when you follow me through the week, I expect you to see the same
thing again and again. Yeah.
If it's people that want to come through.
Joe is a psychic medium making claim to a diverse range of talents. When not contacting the dead, he lays claim to make aura readings, psychically tapping into people's energy fields to reveal significant insights about them. So I've arranged to take Joe to the Liverpool-based set of the soap opera Hollyoaks to see what the stars make of him.
Hollyoaks, isn't it?
First actor up, Chris Fountain.
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
This is Joe.
Nice to meet you, Chris. How are you? All right? Yeah.
Darren, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Thank you very much.
Do you know about the aura, the surroundings of the magnetic field? So you wouldn't really know what colours I'm picking up about you, would you?
Really.
But that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it makes sense of what I want.
The most prominent colour is I'm seeing red around you at the moment. It normally represents legal issues connected to a vehicle. I don't know if you just had some connection to a vehicle. Would that be correct?
I got a parking ticket today.
Very naughty boy, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Around
My
you.
mum doesn't see this now. I'm in trouble.
Say it again, sorry.
I'm in trouble with my mum now. She sees this.
Okay.
Only person that knew about my parking ticket today was my girlfriend.
Second up, 23-year-old Anthony Quinlan.
Hi, Andy. I'm Joe. How are you? All right. Nice to meet you. You're all right.
Have a seat.
Originally, when you just walked in, I was going to say you were one of 3, and then I dropped it to 2. How many is in your family?
There's only one.
Okay, and I just want to take you back a little bit. Was there an incident with an accident with a bike?
I really can't think.
Okay, if I took you back to around 14,
I really can't think.
okay, keep thinking for me. Okay, now I am aware of a lady coming through here, connected to a grandmother. Would there be 3 sisters?
Yeah.
Yes, because she is standing directly behind you now. Okay, and she wants to congratulate you on what you're doing at this present time. Okay, she's just disappeared and she's just gone. Thanks very much for speaking to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
How did you find that?
Just amazing. Absolutely. That's the only thing I wanted to hear you say. That's the only thing I wanted to hear you say.
She was there for you.
That's mental. That is mental.
I'm absolutely shattered.
It's been suggested that I try the next one.
Come on, Derren.
Okay.
Time for a spot of non-psychic mind reading. And my sitter is the instantly arresting Claire Cooper.
How are you?
Nice
All
to meet you.
right.
I'm good,
Nice
thank
to meet
you.
you.
Look amazing. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so one of the reasons why I've avoided pretending to be psychic during my career is that I sort of find it a bit embarrassing and a bit excruciating telling people how they should be or what's going to happen to them, because I think all those things are not helpful to tell people. So I'm having to give myself permission to do this, because otherwise I'll feel bad. But anyway, what I see in you is a soft centre with a very hard armour shell on the outside. Does that make any sense to you, first of all?
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. Relationship-wise, as I'm saying this, you're thinking back to a recent relationship that I think was troubled and was difficult and was lovely, but when it ended, there was a lot of heartbreak at the end. We went on holiday with this guy, and it was a lovely time, but it didn't solve what this thing was.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is it the Maldives?
Yes.
Yes.
It
Lovely.
was.
Never been there, but
Yeah.
it's that image I got of pockets of sand and lots of water.
Yeah.
It was the only image I have of it. You move on from that. You wouldn't have dogs. You'd have cats. Yes. And they would be, I think, quite nice pedigree cats. I think you'd probably go for a sort of bluey, silvery, those sorts of things. I don't know much about. I'm a dog person, but does that connect?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Okay. Then that's all. That's all I think I can say.
Thank you.
Can you tell me your thoughts on that? We've been asking people afterwards what.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Was it?
Yeah, really impressed. I've got 2 British blue cats. That's really amazing you picked up on that, especially the colour. And yeah, I've kind of broke off a relationship recently. Mm-hmm. We went to the Maldives, but it was kind of all a bit, So yeah.
How did you feel?
I don't do it very often because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not remotely psychic at all, but I find there's an interesting crossover between what I do and what Joe does and
How old are you, Claire?
28.
Did you have a Mini at one time?
I've got one now.
You've got one now. You drive a Mini.
Yeah.
And your cat is the paw okay on one of them. There's been a little bit of bother.
Mishka had a problem with one of her paws, one of her claws.
But I like to come up with facts.
Thank you so much. I know we've kept you for too long. So.
Absolutely fine. Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you.
I forgot to say about the affair.
What affair?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Forget it.
No, tell me. No, tell me. You can't do that.
So go on, keep going.
We'll leave that for another
No,
time.
don't leave
You
it,
just
don't
keep
leave it.
travelling in your Mini. So
it's
basically,
fab.
I could have just been picking that up from the auric field, which it's stored within the magnetic field, and I wouldn't be a person that would leave you in limbo thinking something was going on.
No, but you were, because you were just going to say, don't think about the affair, and then you're going to
No, because you were putting me on the spot, Darren.
No, you said that yourself, and you were going to leave her in limbo on that. So.
No, I wasn't.
As long as you got your hits, but that was quite a nasty thing to say.
It's not hits. It's
Well, no, but
facts.
it is, because
It's facts.
As soon as I say that, you bring it back to, but
It's
I was quite
facts.
good, wasn't I?
It's facts.
But thank you again. Sorry to
Pleasure.
put you through all that. It's
It's all right.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Thank
And
you.
you as well.
Mwah. Bye.
Goodbye. Bye-bye, Claire.
Bye.
By observing you today, there is no doubt is that you are not working on a
Psychic level.
level.
She's going to go away from that. She could have gone away from that, believing I was psychic. I think if I'd have told her I was psychic, she'd have believed that. And I could have given her some advice. I could have framed it in terms of a spirit telling me these things, a grandmother telling me these things, rather than me sort of being a bit more honest about how I was getting it.
The difference between me and you,
Yeah.
I come up with facts.
Just shows that every psychic's different and they work very, very differently. And I think Derren is psychic. I think he is.
I'm starting to see why mediums like Joe have such appeal. People want to believe he's in contact with their dead loved ones. It brings them a huge amount of comfort.
Because she feels like she's touched her daughter.
And no matter what happens during the reading, they want to give him the benefit of any
She
doubt.
wants to congratulate you.
There was a case with Anthony, who was a cast member on Hollyoaks. Joe gave him a lot of information that sort of kept missing, really. It didn't feel like a good reading at all. And after a series of those misses, he finally said there's a grandmother that's come through,
Connected to a grandmother.
which is kind of obvious that he'd have a grandmother who died. But the fact that he wanted that he wanted to have that contact with his grandmother, that was enough to validate the whole thing, to the extent that immediately afterwards he was saying it was an amazing reading, purely because he'd been told his grandmother had come through.
Just amazing, absolutely. That's the only thing I wanted to hear you say.
The dilemma for me is I'm kind of interested in taking a step back and going, well, is there any evidence for it? But you realise when you look at what's happening in these readings, no one cares particularly about the evidence. They just want to be told that their loved ones are still there. And the moment even the slightest, faintest implication that may have not been quite what it seemed is hurtful and horrible for them. And of course, it's much more likely to be angry at me for suggesting that than they are at Joe.
But there are some common themes already emerging in Joe's claims of contacting the dead. And my driver, Lee, has noticed one in particular, Joe's use of numbers.
So Lee, Joe did a reading for you.
Yeah.
How was that reading?
It was quite scary, really. It seemed quite accurate at the time.
Give me a couple of things he said to you that...
I'm from a family of 4, which I assumed it was just meant brothers and sisters.
Right.
But he's mentioned that to somebody else, and he meant like mum and dad as well.
So you counted it without mum and dad?
Yeah,
It was 4.
yeah.
Did you have a Mini at one time?
I've got one now.
You've got one now, you drive a Mini.
Yeah.
What's more, Lee saw something before Claire's reading which might be significant.
When you did come in and listen to some of the readings, you heard Joe tell Claire that she drove a Mini. But what did you tell me afterwards? Because that was quite interesting.
Well, when he was outside with his car, Claire actually drove past in a Mini Cooper and pulled up alongside him, got out the car and walked past into the building.
Now, of course, Joe may not have seen the Mini, so I shall have to ask him. But something about which there's no doubt is that Joe does have a whole lot of ambition. Tonight he's invited me along to what's considered the next step up any psychic medium's career ladder, a sellout show. And this is the first psychic show I've ever been to. And it's a bit of a surprise. Given the show is all about contacting the dead, I was expecting a somber audience. But this lot, 250 people paying £10 each, are anticipating a bit of entertainment.
On stage, Mr. Joe Power.
Time for Joe to meet his public.
Do you know I can actually look into your life like a book and open it up and open a page and have a look at your secrets I'm going to be contacting the alleged spirit world. Is everyone up for that?
For the next 2 hours, Joe's taking this willing crowd into his world.
I've got 2 people coming through. Where am I? Where are we? 2 people?
He's saying he's got his marbles back.
Thank God.
And they love him. For them, Joe's worth the price on the ticket as he delivers hit
There was a rat in his house.
Thank you.
after hit.
If he's like, would be 38 or...
38.
38, thank you very much.
But interspersed with the showmanship are stories of real tragedy. There's been a lot of heartache in this room.
But the main person is the person that's being crushed, OK? He needs to let you know is that he's fine. In the vehicle...
The many stories of suicides and violent deaths bring home the intimate level at which these people are allowing Joe to tread. He carries a real responsibility as he involves himself in their memories.
OK, you've got 2 suicides. Yeah, your son was murdered.
My first husband committed suicide as well.
OK, does one of them know Gary? OK, is that he passed through a suicide. She's mentioning cocaine, she's mentioning drugs. Is that he would have hung himself, this person?
It makes me feel sad and uncomfortable, and I wonder what's more important.
Just that you know, is that they're OK?
Whether Joe's actually psychic, or whether he brings comfort.
OK, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave Michelle with you. She's absolutely fine. She's happy. Yeah? OK, thanks, God bless you. OK, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
I thought he was really good, really accurate.
I thought he was great. Yeah, he was really good. Yeah, he is very good. Yeah.
Whatever you try to do, you try to, with me, is try to keep the audience uplifted because you've got a lot of people grieved in the audience and different things. It'll just be my natural way of working, you know, sometimes serious, sometimes a little bit uplifting, and then, you know, changing from time to time.
Where would you imagine yourself in five years' time? What would you love to be doing with this?
I would like to be doing shows in front of, say, 2,000 and 3,000 people because I feel I make a lot stronger connections than other people that are performing out there now.
But I am a bit surprised to discover that some of the people Joe read for tonight have had readings with him before, albeit some time ago.
He's actually given me the same reading last year, about 12 months ago.
I have had a reading off him before, but it was a long time ago.
We've been to an open circle before. We've had him. You've seen him before privately, haven't you?
Yeah.
I have. And she has a different
And everything that he says is always
spot on.
Joe says that people are going to follow him regularly if they like psychic performances and will have seen more than one show.
Do another one because I'm waiting to go to
Okay, ready, 1, 2.
Tonight's audience certainly believed Joe was communicating with the dead. I'd love it to be true as well, but I've got my doubts. And Joe's not going to like them.
I'm going to shake your hand.
Are you fake?
No, I'm 100% not a fake. What I do as a medium is 100% genuine.
But while he could be, there is another way of achieving similar results. And I'll let you into a secret. It involves one of the many techniques I use when I'm on stage. It's called cold reading.
And she's still got tears in her
It allows you to give the impression you know personal details about people you've only just met.
that she's fine on your side. Okay, this only feels...
Professor Richard Wiseman, who attended last night's show, is an expert in studying claims of paranormal abilities. I met him for a second opinion on how cold reading could be used.
Okay, so that's your grandson.
What Joe is doing, I think, is impressive in the sense that he's standing on stage and getting people to say, yes, my goodness, you know, you seem to be in contact with somebody in the spirit world. The question is he doing that through some kind of psychological cold reading technique, or is it genuine? You're never going to know for certain.
If Joe is cold reading, he would first have to make the connection. Here you convince a bereaved spectator that you have a link to a loved one in the spirit world.
What I'm linking to her is her name is Jean.
So what's better than mentioning a name?
Clear, and I know that someone should be connecting to this lady. Good bloody start, okay.
But if that doesn't work, you just try another name.
Is Debbie, that should be linked to this lady.
It's my auntie and cousin.
And hey presto, you've made the connection.
People in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Just bear with me one moment.
Okay. So it's an interesting start there. He comes out and he says, absolutely crystal clear, I'm looking for a Jean. And there's not much of a response there, so it becomes then it's Debbie as well. If you listen to the actual words, actually Jean has vanished from it.
Now, is this lady only just passed?
But with the audience member now hooked, there's still work to do. You've got to reveal facts about them and their dead loved ones.
You'll be the right connection. You stay with me a second.
So next up, the sitter does the work.
Oh God, you said Jean before. It'll be Joan. She's over there in the audience.
Where is she?
That's another sister.
So this is the sitter doing all the work. So he came out and said, Jean. Oh, and now I've worked it out. You mean Joan, who's alive over there. So it's the sitter doing the work.
Is it Paul? I don't know if that was one of his friends. You may need to...
He had a partner, Pauline.
Okay. Now,
there's also that sense of throwing out a lot of options. So they're trying to fit this information, they're dropping away the stuff that doesn't make sense, they're picking up and getting the psychic to elaborate on the stuff that does. So it involves a back and forth.
Okay, where's the family of 5 of you then? As if there's 5, I need to...
Nowhere is this more apparent than when the audience has to work hard to make sense of the numbers.
Okay, why is she mentioning 5 then? Is it like 5 of you, or is it 5 connection?
5 girls and a boy.
So there he says, I'm getting the figure 5. And she says, yeah, 5 girls and a boy. Or as some might refer to it, 6.
6, yeah.
So again, he might be right. He might be right, maybe. It was 5 girls and the spirits were whispering that to him and he just couldn't quite make sense of it. Or it could just be a number that's thrown out there and it's her job to make it fit.
Is it 5 connection?
5 girls and a boy.
Sometimes, rather than throwing specific information at the audience to work out, cold reading also allows you to deal with generalities.
Have to wait for me to link.
So next up, Barnum statements. Comments that could apply to many people.
Okay, how's your knee?
Not too good.
He's talking about your knee, love.
I know.
Okay, you've had problems with it?
Yeah.
And is it your hip as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and saying to a lady of a certain age that she has a dodgy knee or hip is what we call a Barnum statement, isn't it? From P.T. Barnum, who said there's something for everyone. It's a phrase that can clearly apply to a lot of people in that situation, although it sounds very specific in the way that it's delivered.
But out of all the cold reading techniques, my personal favourite is the recap.
I just felt...
Here you tell the audience something they've just told you.
Or Catherine.
Her name's Catherine, a sister, but we call her Kissy.
And 1 minute, 22 seconds and 23 frames later...
But I want to keep talking to you, and you mentioned the name of Kitty, didn't you? Not me, because I'm hearing that again, by the way. It's as if like it's a nickname.
Well, her name's Catherine, but everyone calls her Kissy.
Ah, because she's saying nickname. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a nickname that we used to call her.
He's already heard that. She's already told him that.
I believe that's the case. So this is a kind of recapping. But of course, if you don't remember the beginning part of the reading, which is when he was explicitly told that, you could look at that and think, oh my goodness, how on earth did he come up with that information? And the answer is he was told it fairly early on.
And could this be another one?
There's 3 people that I need to connect to.
Yeah, it was my cousin. There was 3 of them in a car.
Was 2 killed?
Yeah.
She said cousin.
Yeah.
Okay, I need
And
you
what's
to speak
revealed?
to me because I'm feeling that these 2 people... Was one like a cousin, or was the
Yeah, it was my
related?
cousin.
It was your cousin? Okay, does the name of Jimmy connect...
But we're all human. And sometimes you do get the information wrong.
No.
No. Don't know what that is.
But if it is going wrong, there's a solution. And it's called the blame game. You can blame the spirits.
I felt his energy, but I'm not convinced as that I'm talking to him. So I'd rather let you sit down if that's okay.
Or you can blame the audience if the information doesn't quite ring true.
Okay, she's
I
saying
don't know,
yes, she was
possibly.
in the hospital.
Yeah, she was a while back. I don't know, she may have been.
Okay, you may need to think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
So it's never I'm wrong. It's simply that now you have to go and investigate that because, you know, we've got to find out more information about it.
Do you know if there's an anniversary or birthday that falls on the 23rd? Think about it.
I can't think.
Well, I can, love, so... Okay. I'm probably a little bit faster. Okay.
And if you're saying no, it can be left with you as a sitter. Well, think about it. Go away and think about it. In other words, I'm right and you're wrong until you
it's
find
my
it.
problem.
Right.
Right, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Now, none of this is to say that this isn't genuine.
Yeah.
What we're saying is there's just other ways of looking at this.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm going to say good night and God bless. Thank you.
The end of the show. Joe could be communicating with the dead. But my discussion with Professor Wiseman explains how similar results can be obtained through cold reading. Joe himself emphatically denies using any of these techniques, saying he solely uses what he terms as his gift of mediumship.
What you would have is your cynics on one side going, well, that's it, it's all cold reading, and your believers on the other kind of going, no, it's all genuine. But I think if these abilities actually exist, there is only one way to find out whether they're real or not, and that is to do some kind of test.
Before we started filming, Joe agreed in principle to undertake a scientific test. Formulated independently by Professor Wiseman, the basic idea was to have Joe read for some people that he couldn't see or talk to, and this would eliminate the possibility of cold reading. He'd have to rely purely on what the spirits wanted to say, and he wouldn't be helped by any information the sitter fed to him. But as the week went on, Joe felt the test was unfair to his particular style of mediumship, and he didn't want to do it.
So we were going to be doing the test today, which you've said you'd rather not do. The point of the test was to show that it isn't just cold reading, or isn't just this, or isn't just that. I'd have thought you'd have welcomed the chance to show that it was real. So what's your reasons for...
A dog wouldn't take that test.
Right.
It was designed for failure. Because I am a clairaudient.
Right.
And I need to have voice reaction. I need to have communication in order for the spirit people to come through. What happens is that I've got an energy field and a spirit has an energy field, but they haven't got a voice box.
Right.
Okay, so I need to have dialogue with the other person.
So if you wanted to test another medium, and you wanted to check that they weren't, just say you weren't sure if they were cold reading or whether they were genuinely doing it, so you wanted to sort of remove the possibility of cold reading, what sort of, how would you test it? Because that's what was so...
Well, I would know me.
You just know?
I would know straight away.
Okay.
I've been in churches where I've seen a medium standing on the platform and he says, I've got your mother here, and I know that he hasn't because the father's standing behind them.
In the way that Joe has backed out of the test, he's found a description for how he does it that means you can't test it because you can't remove any of the other possibilities. It's the equivalent of him saying, I've got a UFO in the garden, you can come and look at it, but it's invisible. You can't see it or touch it, so you've still got to believe me. You've still got to believe. There is no way of testing whether there's a UFO there or not. You just got one bloke that says it's there. But if Joe won't do a scientific test, he has agreed to do a second one-on-one reading. In his first reading with Wanda, he scored hit after hit. This time I wanted to arrange a reading which was independently organised by us. A woman called Roz answered an ad I put in the local paper and agreed to be read by Joe. Hi, Roz. Hi. Hello.
I've asked her to use a fictitious name and an address other than her own.
Most people, when they go into a reading, say they're kind of a bit sceptical, they don't know. What are your thoughts at the moment? Do you believe in this kind of thing?
I'd like to believe in it, and 99% of me, yeah, and there's 1% doubtful.
Can I ask you as well, if you don't mind telling us, we know you have had a loss in your life because that's why we have a meeting. Can you just tell us the details of what happened? Is that all right?
Yeah, it was our older sister. She developed breast cancer, which was being treated, and it was looking good. And then it just came back with revenge. When Elaine was alive, and the three of us made a pact that if something happened, one of us died, the person who died would find a way of getting through to the other two of us. Because I'm sure if there's a way, she will definitely find it.
So Roz is not sceptical, and she's genuinely seeking contact. We've just changed her name and address. I've left Roz, or Pam as we're calling her, to collect Joe for the reading. So far, I've seen no real evidence to confirm that Joe is communicating with the dead. But in the next few minutes, if Joe scores hit after hit as he did before, it'll help persuade me that he is the real deal.
There you go.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Darren, come on, behave yourself.
Okay.
So
let's go in.
Yes.
Let's do.
Do you know who you are? Have you been in the house before?
I've said a hello. We've turned up and I said a hello. But,
yeah. So you've been in. You've met these people.
I have briefly met them. Yes, I have.
Thank you.
I wanted to go to the loo first before I seen these people.
Okay.
For me, this is Joe's moment.
Actually, I'll sit here. Hello.
Hi.
So, Pam, Joe, Pam.
Hi, Pam. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Joe.
You're all right, thank you. Now, I'm aware of a gentleman actually coming through. It feels more like a father in the spirit world. Okay, do you have a dad in the spirit world?
Yes.
Yes, okay, I felt your dad, as soon as I come through the room, wanted to try and come through and say hello to you. Okay, I don't know if he's saying 2 children connected, but there was meant to be 3. How many children do you have?
2.
2. It's something to do with 2 children.
Yes.
But there should have been 3 children.
Mhm.
Would that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense, yeah.
Okay, and you have, obviously that child is in the spirit world now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Have you come here to try and communicate and bring this child through?
No, not the child. No.
Okay, that's fine, don't worry about it. Now, I'm also aware of a lady coming through as well. I'm pretty sure is that it was connected to a mum. Would she have been 1 of 5?
Yes.
Yes, because she talks about there's 5 of us. Yeah? Okay, she keeps talking about a separation here, divorce. Okay, and I don't know whether this is connected to do with you or there was some type of split up going back quite a while.
No.
Okay, why she mentioned 17 years ago then? Is the Jimmy or James connected?
No.
She's saying yes on grandfather's side?
No.
Okay, maybe have a think about it. It may come back a little bit later on. Okay. I feel it's connected to the 5 which was connected to your mum when she said it was 1 of 5. Okay, so it may go back a long time ago. Sometimes we can't think because the mind has to think a lot beforehand. Yeah? Okay, because I've never met you, I've never seen you before, and as soon as I come in, I knew it was that your father was waiting here for you. And I knew it was that your mum was waiting, and I knew it was that I wanted to ask her for a little bit of information, and she said 5 of them. So you would know that was your mother coming through. Other than that, I'm going to say God bless and thanks for speaking to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. There's one particular person that I know was trying to get through to me.
Okay, don't worry about that. There may be a person trying to come through, but sometimes the spirit people will come through in their own time.
They said if there's a way of coming through, they will find it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I thought, you know, you might be that person.
Yeah, but maybe I'm not the right person all the time. I can't guarantee I can go to one place and bring a certain person through. So I wouldn't be too disappointed. I'd be happy that someone is coming through. Can I just ask you as well? I know you seem disappointed. Is the Paul connected with you?
Paul. We have a Paul, yeah.
Okay, as in the living world.
Living world, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because your obviously mum is talking about Paul. It's okay. I you don't mind me asking. I don't know if he's a cousin or someone quite close to you.
In-law.
In-law, Paul, in-law.
What does my mum want to say about Paul?
See, I don't. All I know at the moment is that there was some type of connection with Paul. I don't know if there's been some spot of bother or something happened around Paul, but I know is that she was specifically talking of a Paul.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
I was hoping for something more definite.
How you managed to come in and have a reading?
How was it arranged?
Yeah.
I applied to have a reading done.
To who?
To the advert.
Okay, and who answered the phone?
I can't think offhand now which person.
Okay, and have you met Derren before, have you?
No, never.
He's just said he's just been in your house.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, this morning, yeah. I meant not before today.
So you've met Derren?
Yeah,
you know
today.
Derren is a skeptic, and you just said that you haven't seen Derren before, and
well,
he's been in your house before I've
today.
just come in. You just told me, Derren, that you haven't been here.
So
We hadn't met
Only
me
asked him
before.
today. I've only met him today.
So you'd rather we hadn't met at all? That would have.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm quite happy. Your mum's come through. She talked about the 5 kids. Okay, that is good enough for me.
5 kids.
5. She was one of 5.
Oh, she was one of 5.
One of 5,
sorry.
yeah.
Right.
But you seem to be trying to, as if I need to prove to you.
No, I'm very open-minded. I was hoping.
Yeah.
No, very open-minded.
Yeah.
No.
But that's why I would have preferred not meeting Derren Brown.
No,
so anyway, I'm going to say
Joe.
thank you with that.
Okay.
And thank you for that. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
OK, talk to me. You seem unhappy.
Well, I'm unhappy because you told me a blatant lie.
Which was?
You told me that you had not been in this house.
I told you I had been in that house.
No, you told me you had not been in this house. Yeah. So you've been in. You've met these people.
I have briefly met them. Yes, I have.
Thank
yeah.
you. But don't you think that's absolutely terrible? That to me is terrible.
Joe, if you don't stand here and continue the conversation, you're not going to hear what I say in response to that.
You've been in the house, you're supposed to be a famous person, you was never meant to be in that house.
Joe, I'm going to be honest with you, it seems like if you do a bad reading, you blame everybody else other than yourself. It's her fault, it's my fault, and it's not your fault.
It is, you shouldn't have gone into the house, it was corruption.
Nothing to do with it, Joe, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference.
Corruption, that is absolutely terrible. Bad showmanship, Derren. Bad showmanship.
I don't know what... OK, so you think by me being in there and being sceptical, that makes her more sceptical?
Yes. You've got to draw a fine line of what is real and what is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the things what I do is real because I am touching people, right, in a nice way.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you push overboard and you're taking literally the piss out of skeptics and mediums when there's real gifted people out there, OK, that's when it draws a line.
As I said, I'm quite disappointed in the outcome. Okay. It was nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. No influence from you whatsoever.
I mean, from watching him, it feels like if things start to go a bit wrong, he'll keep bringing back up the information that he got right, and he kept going back to the 5. She was one of 5 kids, so he kept coming back to that. And so did she have 5?
Well, think about it now afterwards. Sorry, it was 6.
Oh, it was 6?
Yeah. I said a quick count on my fingers, and I thought 5, then including my mum, would have been 6.
So she was one of 6, not one of 5?
No, one of 6, yeah.
For me, my time spent with Joe has come down to a tale of 2 very different readings. One, a great success, and another, which didn't go so well.
Vanda's reading was a very, very good reading, and it wasn't cold reading. You can tell because cold reading always follows a certain pattern, a pattern of throwing out information, letting the other person making it fit, and then kind of taking credit for it yourself as a psychic. And he certainly wasn't doing that. He was giving information.
He's saying I'm 93.
And it was a very, very different situation with the second lady.
Is the Jimmy or James connected?
No.
In my opinion, it looked like cold reading, and bad cold reading. And he says that that was invalid because I'd said hello to this woman before and that my mere presence there would have made her more sceptical. I actually don't really see why that would stop her relatives who loved her from coming through. I still don't really see why that would make it not work. And I think you're left with this same either or. Either he is genuine, all this is just very unfortunate, he's just had a bad week, but he is genuine, in which case there's a lot more questions to be asked. It's a fascinating thing that we should embrace and look more closely at. Or he's a fake. And he's not just doing card tricks, he's involving himself with people who are bereaved and vulnerable. If that is what he's doing, that is an insult not only to the memory of the deceased but also to the dignity of the bereaved.
It's now my last night in Liverpool, and time for a final chat with Joe. Top of the agenda, the contrast between the 2 readings.
If the spirit world don't want to make contact, then they don't come through. So you can't compare one reading that it's a good reading and one reading that is a bad reading.
Of course.
The spirit world doesn't work like that.
All right.
And you wouldn't know that, would you? Because you don't have these ability to know.
But I have other abilities and other knowledge, and that's what I'm bringing to it. I'm not bringing to it a knowledge of how the spirit works. That's your area. What I am bringing is a knowledge of cold reading and how people can fake and how people can be fooled.
Did you have a Mini at one time?
I've got one now.
You've got one now, you drive a Mini.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that you said in your reading to Claire was that she drove... Claire was the last girl. Remember, I did a reading, a sort of a fake reading.
No, I said I was picking up a Mini.
That's right.
She said she drove a Mini.
That's right, yeah, which was great, and it was a good hit. And then I found out that she'd pulled up next to you in her Mini outside in the parking lot.
Now, you are really clutching at straws. I mean, this is probably the worst. I think before you make accusations of me...
I'm not. I want your answer. I want your response.
I'm quite disgusted in that you've come to stoop this low, which is totally fabrication on your behalf.
So she didn't turn up in the Mini?
I don't know. I've never seen her.
Oh, that's what I want to find out.
Yeah, but I'm quite shocked that you've even gone to that extreme. Okay, well, we could go on about this. I mean, but
it's important. It's important. There's a difference between you're really connecting with those people and you're sort of trampling on their memories and insulting the bereaved and the deceased.
No. You're insulting the people out there, the believers. You only have an opinion. Darren, we've had a good week.
I have to present you with this so you can respond.
Okay, we've had a good week. I'm going to shake your hands.
Are you fake?
No, I'm 100% not a fake. You know deep down, right?
Are you genuinely channeling dead people?
I am genuinely channeling dead people.
Did you do research on any of those people?
No, I did not do any research whatsoever on any single person.
Can you sleep at night? Are you happy
I can
with what you're doing?
sleep very, very well every single night.
You can look at yourself in the mirror.
I can look at you and I can look at you 100% in the eyes and tell you what I do as a medium is 100% genuine. Yeah?
I have to let the viewers make up their mind.
And it's a pleasure working with you.
My time with medium Joe Power has involved gauging whether or not he's real, but I'm left considering another question. Maybe the comfort mediums offer is more important than where it all comes from. I'm unable to believe Joe actually contacts the dead, but I have learnt it's a far more complex business than I'd imagined. After I finished filming with Joe, something came up concerning his reading with Vonda. Joe's always maintained he'd never met her before, which Vonda has confirmed, and Joe told us she did not give him any information. Joe has always said he did not know any of her details, but what I've discovered is that Vonda's next-door neighbour is in fact Joe's sister. Now, I asked Joe for clarification. Joe said that he had been surprised to find out that Vonda lived next door to his sister. And he went on to say that since he's read for many people in that particular area of Liverpool and that particular street, he put it down to no more than a mere coincidence.
Tonight, a small, specially invited audience will be joining me in a secret location in London for a one-off special live performance.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
Everyone's in blacked-out coaches, so they can't see where they are. And at the moment, one of those blacked-out coaches is arriving that bears our celebrity quota for the evening.
Where the fuck are we?
The other coaches, which are slightly grubbier and don't have power steering, contain the ordinary people, the non-celebrities. And I've invited people who I know are interested in my works, so there are psychologists, hypnotists, salesmen, one or two psychics, some magicians, even some cabbies. And I've also invited some students as well, as I do tend to do this around universities sometimes, and students tend to respond quite well, so I've invited some of those along too. Enjoy it. Okay, it's time to start. None of them know where they are. Let's bring down the house lights. Good evening. Very nice to see you all. Thank you for coming. Obviously, a show like this is going to involve a certain amount of audience participation, so I thought I'd get rid of that whole awful embarrassment factor. Now, Jean-Christophe Novelli, you're sat a couple of rows back, couple in from the aisle. Would you stand up for me, sir?
You have to stand up. Oh, no.
Stand up for me, Jean-Christophe, please. Stand up. Jean-Christophe, thank you. Please listen carefully. If you look over to the left-hand side of the stage for me. you'll see a tall table, and on top of the table is a stuffed kitten. Can you see that, Jean-Christophe?
Yes, I do, yes.
Excellent. What I would like you to do for me is to go and get the kitten.
Oh, no.
Hang on.
No. It's my night off.
Listen carefully. I'd like you to go and get the kitten off the table. I don't want to embarrass you in front of 200 people, of course. No. So I'd like you to try and get the kitten without anybody seeing you. Go on, off you go.
Please, I don't know. It's my night off.
Right, I think I can see you. Take the kitten back to your seat for me, Jean-Christophe. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. All right, listen carefully. In a moment, I want you to throw the kitten backwards, over your shoulder, into the audience. Not yet. This will then select a random volunteer. Of course, this means everybody behind Jean-Christophe will now pretend they don't exist. If the kitten comes at you, you just catch it. Jean-Christophe, throw it backwards now into the audience. Go, over your head. Throw it for me. Whoever that's nearest, pick that up for me. Jean-Christophe, you can now sit down. Thank you very much indeed. Whoever's got the kitten, will you please stand? Excellent. What's your name, madam?
Jeannie.
Jeannie, very good to meet you, Jeannie. Jeannie, first of all, we have never met before, ever. I have prepared nothing with you, correct?
I don't know who you are.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming. Jeannie, if I was to ask you to name any country in the world, all right, now don't name maybe France or England or even America, maybe they might seem a little bit obvious. And bearing in mind, you can change your mind as many times as you like. What would you say?
Africa.
Africa. Excellent. Well, that's kind of what I hoped. It tells me that you are clearly sharp enough to try and keep me on my toes, yet you're not going to try too hard to catch me out, and that you have massive emotional damage. Jeannie...
How right you are.
Jeannie, it would be a little bit ambitious of me at this point to try and control your choice of any country in the world, but I think I can control your choice of one of three shapes. If you look in the centre of the stage, you'll see a board with three shapes mounted on them. Can you see that?
Yes.
Excellent. In a moment, Jeannie, I will ask you to name one of those three shapes. I think I know in advance which one of those shapes you're going to choose. So I will give you 3 seconds of silence, and during that time, I want you to make up your mind and choose one of the shapes. Whatever you say, Jeannie, I will take as your absolute final decision, and I will not let you change your mind. Is that clear?
Okay. Yes.
All right. And you'll notice, by the way, I haven't tried to attract your attention to one shape more than the others. I'm sure you'll agree everything is fair and square. Here are your 3 seconds. Your 3 seconds of silence starts now. 1, 2, 3. I will not let you change your mind. Is that clear? Which shape would you like?
Triangle.
The triangle. Right, would you like to change your mind? A free choice. Yes?
Yes.
All right, here's what I want you to do. Leave the kitten with the person next to you. I'd like you to walk down onto the stage and stand next to the microphone. That's just next to the board with the shapes on it. Give Jeannie a big hand as she heads up on stage. Thank you. The mic is just to the right of the shapes. If you can just stand so you're facing the audience, lovely. Now, Jeannie, just behind that board with the shapes on, there's a card table. Will you just pick the brick up off the card table, please? Thank you very much. Pick it up, and then with your other hand, I need you to pick up the black envelope that's just there. Pick up the black envelope that's just on the card table. Thank you. And then put the brick back. Thank you. All right. So, take the envelope that was under the brick, take it to the microphone. I'd like you to undo it for me and take out what's inside. A folded sheet of paper. Good. If you can undo the folded sheet of paper for me. And Jeannie, I would like you, please, in your nicest, clearest voice, to read out what it says right from the top of the page. Nice and clearly, please. Off you go.
Okay, Derren, but before I start, may I just say how much I've enjoyed the recent series.
Oh, Jeannie, that is so sweet of you. Thank you so much. That's lovely. You can read a little quicker if you like.
If my abilities are well honed tonight, you will be a tall, well-dressed and sexually attractive lady.
I do apologise.
Upon being asked to choose a shape, there is only one shape you can choose. That shape will, of course, be the triangle. However, what will really bug you is how I also knew that you would choose the country Africa.
Africa it was. Jeannie, back to your seat. Keep it going for Jeannie. Head back to your seat, Jeannie. Thank you enormously. Thank you very much indeed. That is excessively kind of all of you. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for bearing with our arrangements this evening. Just do be careful when gasping tonight. We do have some quite bad asbestos problems in this room we can't do very much about. Everything I do before you tonight, I do unaided. I've purposely chosen quite a big open spaces so you know there's not anybody hiding, holding up things or giving me any information. Equally, I'm not wearing any earpieces or anything like that. I'm going to get you to check, please. No earpiece. Check that for me. Nothing there? Happy? Nothing. Sure? Nothing there?
No.
Do you check?
Nothing at
all.
Sure?
Okay, great. Thank you. I stand before you naked, apart from this rather nice suit and 2 pairs of pants. So, with that gently arousing image in our minds, let's choose one of you at random, see how it goes from there. So let's throw the kitten again. Where is it at the moment? Should be somewhere around Jeannie. Give it a good throw anywhere you like, Jeannie. Excellent. I think that's you. Would you stand up for me? What's your name, please?
Henrietta.
Henrietta. Henrietta, why don't you leave the kitten where it is and head after me? Henrietta, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Very nice to meet you. Come over here for me. I'm just going to bring the mic forward for you and ask you to stand right there, Henrietta. Thank you so much for coming up. I'm going to suggest a little game you might like to play. If you take out what's in there, check there's nothing else in there. Would you take it out as well? Empty? Yep. And just say into the mic what that is nice and clearly for me.
Oh, it's a lovely cheque for £1,000.
A cheque for £1,000, ladies and gentlemen. A cheque for £1,000. It's exciting already, isn't it? Could you also take out what's in the other one here? And again, as you take that out, please check there's nothing else in there. Empty?
Yep.
Yes? That is a picture of a
parrot.
A parrot? Absolutely right. This is not any parrot. This is my parrot. This is Figaro the parrot. He is delightful. This picture will serve as a consolation prize for you, should you not win the money.
Okay.
Let me ask you just to face that way for me. I don't want you seeing now which is which, all right? And while you look the other way, can you close your eyes for me as well? I'm very aware that there are some big shadows up there on the wall. Please close your eyes while I mix these up. And you'll keep track of which is which, yes? All right. While your back's turned, please no looking, keep your eyes closed. I will show you all the envelope that I will make Jeannie pick. Just so you're all that one step ahead. Okay? This one here. This one. Jeannie, you can turn back round now for me. Jeannie, you can turn around now. I'm so sorry, it's not Jeannie, is it?
No.
Henrietta. You can turn, yes, thank you, turn around. Henrietta, Harry. Gonna put this over here.
Okay.
And this one over here. You'll love this game. All you've got to do is... Actually, I got confused then. Let me just check. Good. All you've got to do is choose an envelope. If you choose the one with the check in it, I will make that out to you. I'll write it out, sign it. You can have it. No embarrassment. The money's yours. All right? My task is to somehow try and influence you to choose the envelope that does not contain the check. Mm-hmm. So for £1,000, do you want to go for that one, or do you want to go for that one which you're sort of slightly looking in that direction anyway? It does make it a little bit easier to point out.
That one.
You want to go for that one? A wise decision. A superb choice. Thank you very much indeed. You're under a lot of pressure. There's cameras and lights and so on, so I will give you the rest of the show to change your mind if you like.
Okay.
Just so you don't feel manipulated or pressurised in any way, okay? That's for you for later. Please don't open it yet. For now, Henrietta, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll ask you to go and sit back down. Henrietta, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Excellent, thank you, Henrietta. Let's get a guy and a girl up here, so let's throw the kitten again over your shoulder any way you like. There's our random person. Oh, straight. Reese. Reese just missed. Stand up for me, thank you. Would you throw that again for me? Get a lady up here too. Great, stand up for me there. What's your name?
Debbie.
Debbie and Reese, would you both come up? Let's give them both a big hand. Down you come. Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to put you over here, if that's all right. Just stand right there for me. Turn and face me. Thank you so much. Reese, Debbie, hello. Would you go and stand by the mic for me? I'm just going to talk to Debbie for a second. Please stand there. Don't run off or touch anything. Good. Debbie, face the front for me. I'd like you, please, you're going to think of the surname or the name of someone that you knew when you were young.
Okay.
All right, I will tell you this person's name. All right? Now, again, as for all of you, I have prearranged nothing with you. I haven't met any of you before, correct? Have you got somebody in your mind?
Yep.
I will tell you this person's name. It is the surname I'm going to go for. Christian names are a little easy to stumble across sometimes. So it's the surname I'm after. If you know it's like Smith or Brown or something like that, please do change it for something not so immediately common. Equally, if it's a very long name, more than 6 or 7 letters, again, change it. Are you happy with what you've got? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So you just say the surname to yourself over and over again, please. Just keep repeating that in your mind. Nothing out loud. Don't move your lips. Just keep saying it to yourself. Thank you. All right. Reese, I'm going to... is there a double meaning in it, the surname?
No.
Like a word within the word.
Oh, yeah.
Just focus on the image a little clearer, make it as bright and vivid. Genuinely, please do this for me as you can. In fact, if you imagine the name itself is written in the air, we'll get you to write this down. This will help block it in your mind. It also means if we need to, we can prove what you were writing off, so people don't think you're just going to say yes to help me out, but obviously don't let me see this, so it does take the challenge out of it somewhat. So just the surname, please, large, clear, block capital letters, great. Done that?
Yeah.
Great, if you can fold up the bit of paper for me again, Debbie. All folded up?
Yeah.
Great, okay, can I take the pen back off you? Just the pen, not the bit of paper, thank you. Just for the record though, if you just hold the bit of paper, I won't look, but you cannot see through the paper. Cannot read any writing or see any letters through the paper, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, great, thank you very much. You can hang on to that, just put that in your pocket or hang on to it for me, that's great. All right, face the front for me. Stay right there, just keep thinking of the name. I'm going to ask you, Reese, you're going to draw something for me.
Right.
All right, put your hands by your sides for a second. Now, if ever you see a psychic attempt this, not this, obviously there's nothing psychic about that, that's just fingers. My fingers are bending. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Bend. No, please. They are relying, please. They are relying on you drawing something familiar or predictable.
Right.
So, Reese, your task here is to, try and catch me out a little bit. Draw something you don't think I could just guess.
Right.
All right. So please, don't draw a house. Don't draw a stick man. All right. Okay. Please don't draw a penis.
Right.
It's not that look in his eyes. But something that you can draw clearly and vividly. Don't go overboard on detail. Try and keep it relatively simple.
Right.
Got something?
Absolutely.
All right, great. I'm going to give you a pen and paper to do that for me. When you've drawn it, you draw it nice and big and clear. You hold it up against yourself like this so nobody can see. But you stare at the easel and you imagine that picture that you've drawn is on there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right, so do that for me now, nice and large and clear. Don't let anybody see. When you're done, hold it up against yourself. Okay. All right. Facing the front for me, 2 rules. The first rule is this, Debbie. You need to look at something that you can focus on comfortably. The lights might be a bit bright up there, but just pick something that you can focus on and just look at for me. All right, second rule is this. Let me just get that hair there. All right, second rule is this. You just think of the name. You just say the name to yourself over and over again. Or if I ask you to think of a letter in the name, you just think of that letter over and over again. All right, it means if you get nervous or flustered, you can just bring your mind back to that letter or back to the word. So let's start with a letter somewhere in the middle. If you can just think of a letter somewhere in the middle of this name for me. Have you got one? Okay, so just looking out there. You don't even need to say yes for me. Just keep thinking of the name. Actually, I may not be able to do this with you. I may frustratingly need to send you back. Was that an N? It was?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, maybe this will work. Can you think of another one? Maybe at the end somewhere. Got one? Oh, you flick it. S.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, all right, I'm going to use you. Let's keep... Can I put your hair behind your ears? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm just going to bring your hair around like this. Okay, Reese, keep hold of that. Make sure I don't see it. Just keep it up against yourself. I want you staring, please, at the card on the easel, imagining that picture's there. You're doing great, Reese. Thank you. All right. I'm going to try and make you say the name out loud. You must not say it. You say nothing at all. Don't even say a word until I tell you what I think it is, and then you can say yes or no or freak out or whatever. But until that point, you say nothing, all right? And whatever you do, do not say the name, okay? So what is it? What is it? Okay, plosive sound at the beginning. You can see it. Plosive sound at the beginning. So that could be like a B or a P or something. Oh, careful. A B at the beginning, I think. Please be careful, don't give anything away. All right, so we've got a B at the beginning. Just keep saying it to yourself over and over again. Nothing, don't move them. Barnes, B-A-R-N-E-S, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Debbie. Thank you so much. Debbie, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back. Well done, Debbie. Thank you so much. Well done, Debbie. Thank you very much indeed. All right, don't let me see the drawing. Put the whole thing in the envelope for me. The whole thing in the envelope. Just drop it in for me. Drop the whole thing in, please don't let me see it. If any of you see it, please don't say anything. I'd like you to head over to the mic for me. Thank you. All right. So, Reese, I lied to you. All right, I lied to you because I told you that by not drawing all of those things that we do tend to draw, like houses and stickmen, that it makes it more difficult. It doesn't. It makes it easier. Because it means that instead of drawing all those kind of things, you end up sort of going into yourself a little bit and drawing something that reflects a side of you, or your emotional state, or your response to being here, or any of those things, personal things. So the question is, what can we tell about Reese just by looking at him? You're obviously going to be clearly very confident as a performer, of course you are, so what you've drawn will tend to reflect a kind of a friendly, relaxed thing rather than a kind of aggressive or pointy thing. It's immediately the first thing I'd say. I think also whatever it is, you'll decorate it, you'll do something to it that will make it that little bit more, because this is what you're like. You're that little bit, it'll be something that, okay, I've got a face in front of it, I've got an idea. Friendly and soft. Just keep facing the front. Don't look. Keep
Okay.
facing out the front for me. I'm going to
Right.
go for this. Please don't look. No looking. Don't look, Reese. But there'll be something else to it, and I think it'll be probably that. All right, do not look, Reese, but I'd like you to... Oh, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it. Don't look. Oh, God. It's going to be something, either that or it's the little details. I'm not sure. There'll be some little detail. All right, Reese, into the microphone, nice and clearly. What did you draw?
Cat.
A cat.
Yes.
Wait, hang on. Any details?
Stripy cat.
Stripy cat. Oh, it was the show me what you got. Show me. Oh, I'm going to give myself that. It was the first one. Reese, look, I'll show you. I got rid of it, but I did do that one first. Thank you very much indeed, Reese. I'll let you get back. Reese Shearsmith, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Okay. Right, Henrietta, where are you? Stand up for me. Henrietta, so it was this one there that you chose, yes?
That one.
That one over there. I'm so sorry, my mistake. Let me mark them so there's no confusing which is which. Put a little sticker on this so we all know this is the one that Henrietta would like. Okay? Although you may now think, Henrietta, of course, that I'm trying to attract your attention over this side by putting a sticker here and no sticker on the other side. So I'll put a little sticker on the other side, a different sticker, just so you all know this is the one that Henrietta does not want. Of course, the idea, Henrietta, is to ignore me completely, all right? Don't get stressed, don't get cross, and just go for whatever feels right. Would you like to change your mind? No. No?
No.
Fair enough. Sit down then for me, come back to you later. Let's get a face up here that we would know. Krishnan, could I ask you to stand up for a second? Thank you very much. And let's, yeah, actually, I think you'd be absolutely perfect. Would you head up here for me? Krishnan, ladies and gentlemen, up you come. Just head around here for me. Can I ask you just to come and stand right there for me, right there. Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. Actually, just turn and face me. Thank you very much. Krishnan, look at me just for a second and just relax there and just sleep down there for a second. As you do this, you just need to focus on me for a second. I'm not really going to hypnotize you. All I'm going to do is just placing you into a state where you can really focus and concentrate on what I'm doing. So as you do this, and just listen to my voice right there in the center of your head and take a moment just to carry on sinking and drifting and just floating down so you can really understand what I'm telling you, so these words really make sense to you. Here's what you're going to do. I want you to think of a phone number that you know. Don't say anything out loud, but please, Krishnan, obviously don't go for your own phone number or one of anyone that's very close to you, or anything that you think I could know or have found out. So take a moment to just go through different numbers in your mind and then just find one and settle on one. Okay, I'm going to do this slightly differently with you, I think. I think I'd like you just to pick 2 digits from that phone number. They don't need to be next to each other, just get them in your head. Good. And just lock those in your head for me. Good, I can see you've done that. Lovely. Focus on those 2 for me. And what I want you to do now, Krishnan, irrespective of what you've believed up to this point, you can absolutely believe for me now that you can take those thoughts, those numbers, and send them from your mind into somebody else's. And I know then that you will enter into this with concentration and imagination, and that is all that I ask you to do. So here's what I'd like you to do now. Just take a few seconds just to very slowly reorientate yourself back to this room. And when you're quite ready, I'd like you to open your eyes and stand up straight again. I'll take your hand, put it down there. You all right? Mm-hmm. Excellent, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to get you to write those numbers down, I think, so they don't come out of your head. And again, if we need to, we can prove that really is what you were thinking of, if anybody doubts you later on. All right, please do that now. Again, I will look the other way. Obviously, don't let me see. Don't let anybody in the audience see either. Don't you think anyone could see and then let me know. This is entirely private just for you.
Okay.
Done that?
Done.
Just fold a bit of paper up, please.
Yep.
Again, I make this point, it's very important, because if I'm going to get you to write it down, you need to know I can't see it. We just hold it in your hand. You cannot see through there.
Nope.
You cannot see what number's written.
Nope.
All right? Then put it in your pocket, please, and you can get it out of the way. That's great. Okay. All right, here's what I want you to do. We're going to choose a lady, actually, to come up here with you. So let's just do this first. Where's the kitten at the moment? Kitten's up there. Great. Will you throw it? I will take the nearest lady, so wherever it lands, we'll just pass it to the nearest lady. Give it a throw anywhere you like. Actually, let's give it another throw as well, just to get it out of this central block. And also, that's my mother, so that would be... Great, stand up for me. What's your name?
Charlie.
Charlie, very good to meet you. Why don't you leave the kitten there and head up here. Charlie, ladies and gentlemen, come and sit in the chair there for me. Thank you very much indeed. Charlie, if you just take a seat over there for me. Excellent, and put your feet flat on the floor, great. Face the front for a moment, then look up at me. Take a deep breath in, and then sleep. And just sink right the way down and right the way deep. And right the way sound asleep. Again, still hearing, understanding everything that I do. And again, I'm not really hypnotizing you. I'm synchronizing you over here with Krishnan. So this will allow it to work. So as you do this for me, I want you to remain in that state. But at the same time, I'm just going to sit you back a little bit in the chair. And you can let this even relax you even more because you can become more comfortable. Good. As you stay there for me, I'm going to place a blindfold on you. So you know that Charlie is not going to receive any clues that she shouldn't, any visual clues. So I'm going to put this on you. I know I'm going to catch all your hair up, but it will only be for a second. Okay, I'm also going to give you a whiteboard and a pen. And what I'd like you to do for me, just for a moment, let me just give you this to hold. So you're going to hold that there, it's a whiteboard, and that there. Also going to give you a pen. Please mind your fingers on the nib. I'll just give it to you like that. You're going to place that against the board like that for me. Perfect. All right, Charlie, let me explain what I want you to do. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to start counting out loud, backwards, from 500. You don't have to go all the way to 0, and it doesn't matter if you lose track. You can just carry on from wherever feels right. But what's important is that as you do this, as you count out loud, you're just going to allow the pen to move at the same time. So in other words, you're consciously focusing on the counting, but unconsciously you're letting your hand write whatever it's going to write, okay? So you only focus on the counting, but you must keep the pen moving and writing, drawing, scribbling, whatever. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, don't start yet. You'll start when I tell you to, all right? Stay there for a second for me. Krishnan, if you could just face the front for me. You've got 2 digits in your head. You're going to send these 2 digits across to Charlie. Take a moment just to turn and look at Charlie. And then look back there again. And I want you to start sending those 2 numbers just in your head. You say nothing out loud. Start sending them now. Charlie, start counting now. Out loud. 500. Out loud.
500.
499. 498. Keep counting. Start the pen moving. You're sending those 2 numbers across now. So in your mind, you're sending them across the stage, starting to turn up the volume. Keep the pen moving. Keep the pen moving, Charlie. Moving. And 496, 495, 494. Keep counting. One and then the other. Over and over and over again. Until you're turning up the volume so loud that it's as if you're screaming the matter. Screaming like you want to pick her up and shake them. Keep going. Keep counting. Keep counting. Screaming the matter in your mind what those numbers are. Over and over again and over and over again. Then both of you stop right there. Both of you stop. Okay. I don't want you seeing what she wrote. I'm going to ask you just to face this way for a second, Krishnan. Please don't look. All right, just keep those 2 numbers in your head for a moment. Okay. All right, I'm going to take the pen off you. Just let that hand just relax on your lap. And put the hand on the lap as well. All right, okay. If you see a number here, please don't say anything. I can sort of see 1, and I'm not sure about this one here. If I let the camera see that too, I would say, you've got to help me out if you think I'm wrong, but please don't say anything out loud. This one here is probably that. Would you go with that? We've got that first. So can you guys see that too? The second one could be twice that, or there is a sense of it being that as well. Yeah? You think that as well? Okay. Would you go with that? Can you guys see over there as well? Yes? Okay. Just going to give you this to hold. And that there as well. Okay, I think I'm just going to write these up on the board just so you guys can all see what we're looking at. We're looking at one of those. Pretty much definitely. And then either that or maybe that. Yep. Krishnan, please, no peeking. Face the front for me. This may not work. Let me get you the mic. Stay right there. This may not work. All right, Krishnan, you were trying to send 2 numbers across there, okay? Without looking at what she's written, what was the first... Actually, what was the second number you were trying to send?
5.
Okay, we'll allow ourselves that. And what was the first number?
4.
Then you got it absolutely spot on. Krishnan, thank you so very, very much. Hang on a second. Sorry.
There's something even weirder, which is the telephone number that has come from is somebody called Charlie.
Really? Who can explain these things? Thank you very much indeed. Krishnan, ladies and gentlemen, back you go. Thank you so much. And let me just take this off. You take a few seconds just to come back. You all right? You're back with us, refreshed? That you did get it. You pretty much got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Charlie, ladies and gentlemen. Back you go. Well done, Charlie. All right, something I'd like you all to do for me, please. Put your feet flat on the floor. And then take a look up at the light. up there in the centre. If you can all just do that for me and get comfortable. I would invite you, as you look up at that light, just to notice, first of all, that you're breathing. As you relax, your breathing will become a little more regular, a little heavier, and that's fine. And also that you'll begin to notice your eyelids getting a little bit heavier. And I would invite you, as you look up there at the light, just to begin to let your eyelids get heavy. Now, if you don't want to do this, it's fine. You just keep your eyes open, and that'll be absolutely fine too. I'd invite you to let them grow heavy and just close quite comfortably so that I can talk to you at a level that you can really kind of understand what I'm saying. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, and the reason why I'm asking you kind of to relax and to focus and just experience in this way for a moment, is because all the way through this show up to this point, there's something that I've been doing. I've been dropping little things in to make you forget the show when you leave at the end. I'm just letting you know this now so you're not too alarmed. It won't work on all of you, but those of you that have the best gift for picking up on this kind of thing will find that when you leave, you won't be able to remember anything in the show. Your memory of the show will go as soon as you walk out of this door. And it is, for the moment, a little bit like walking down a staircase, isn't it? And sort of relaxing a little more with each step that you take and sinking right down into it. But I'm going to count you back. When I say 0, you can open your eyes. You'll be absolutely fully back here listening to me, of course. I'm not hypnotizing you. I'm just talking to you at a level that you can really understand what I'm saying. So, from 5, 4, don't open them till 0. It makes it easier. 3, 2, 1, 0. You can open your eyes, and of course, you're absolutely wide awake as you've been throughout that whole thing. Lovely. Good. So, a slightly weird thing was happening. When I was inviting you all and sending your invitations out and kind of working out who was going to come, I wanted to make sure that you kind of covered a fair sort of part of London, like a big sort of range of London. And I ended up going through the A to Z as I was sending them out just to make sure that I was, covering all areas of the map. And inadvertently, I realized that I was remembering the grid references of where you live in the A to Z. So in other words, I realized that when I knew your streets, I would also know your grid references, or if somebody told me the grid reference, I'd be able to get your streets. So I just want to try this as a kind of a memory exercise. If you are happy for us to say the street that you live on, and you live in London, I mean sort of Greater London, this is the big A to Z I was using. Will you just put your hand up for me? I'd love to just try this. Just put your hand right up. Okay, great. Now, whoever's got the kitten, you need to just throw it out to somebody. Keep your hands up for me. Just, it's going to be somebody's got their hands up. Great. I think that's going to be you then. Would you stand up for me? Okay, all right. And again, just to reiterate, so you don't think anyone's helping me, please, you're welcome to take a look around the back. No one's going to be holding anything up to help me. And again, please, no earpiece or anything like that. Do check for me. Nothing in there? Nothing in there? And nothing in there? Sure. All right. It's just important this is just me doing this. All right. So, what's your name?
Masood.
Masood. Okay, you can put the kitten down. You look slightly silly, so that's good. Masood, will you just tell me then, just tell me the road that you live in. I don't want to know what area of London it is or anything like that. Just tell me the road, the street name.
Harbridge Avenue.
Harbridge Avenue. Is that H-A-R?
Yes.
B-R-I-D-G-E, yes? Harbridge Avenue. Great. I'm going to pass you an A to Z. Okay, I'd like to get this up there. So if you can pass that up to Masood. You can just start looking it up. If you do find it, please don't let anybody see where you are on the map. I think I can tell you, if you're looking it up in the index, I think I can tell you it is it's square 7B on page 100, I think. Can you go to page 100 and take a look at 7B? I think I'm right. Go to page 100 for me. It's just below Harbour Yard, I think. Is that right?
Yes.
Have you got it? Is that it? 7B, page 100, yes? Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, I lied to you. I didn't really do this. I didn't really send out your invitations and then cross-reference you with the A to Z. That would be ridiculous and impractical. In fact, what I did was a lot simpler. I just learned all of that. I've learned the whole of the A to Z for Greater London. I'm not making that up. I've genuinely done this. It's taken me about 4 months to do this. I'm not 100% on all of it, but I will do my best for you. This sort of taps into when I was studying law at university, and I had to memorize huge chunks of legal information that I had no interest in at all. So I'm going to try and do this with a few more. So why don't you just give it a good throw, somebody. Just please, somebody catch it, because it's heavy. Anyway you like, just throw it to somebody else. Nice and hard. Great, perfect. Stand up for me. Stand up for me, sir. Okay, what's your name?
Lee.
Lee, yes?
Lee.
Okay, Lee, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you, Lee, just to open the map up any way you like and go to a page. If possible, don't let anybody look over your shoulder. You don't think anyone's going to help me. But can you just tell me the page number that you're on, Lee?
132.
132.
Yeah.
132. Okay, all right. Now, what I want you to do to find, I'm just trying to picture that in my mind. I want you to find on page 132 Something that dominates one square, because the idea is I'm going to get you to tell me a grid reference and I'll try and tell you what's in that square. So please don't pick a square that got loads of tiny little roads in it, otherwise I won't know which one you're thinking of. But just, if you can find something like a playing field or a building or a clear road or something that dominates one square. Have you got something?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just tell me what the grid reference is and I'll try and tell you what's in it.
4C.
4C, C for cat,
Yeah.
yes? Okay, here's what I've got. I've got 132. The image I have in my mind for that is a ventriloquist doll. And 4C is for the sea. So he's got, it's water. Hang on. There's a lot of water, and it's something like, in my mind I've got a snake in water. It's something, a boa, or I think it's a boa reservoir. It's a reservoir, something boa reservoir. What is it? What are you looking at?
Besborough Reservoir.
Besborough Reservoir, yes? That's great, thank you very much. All right. Thank you, let's try this again. Boa and borough mixed up in my mind, how frustrating. All right, okay. Why don't you, we'll throw it again, just do this slightly differently. Any way you like, you can go over there if you like, or back over here, don't mind, give it a chuck. Anybody you like.
Mind you.
Lovely, stand up for me. Right, what's your name, sir?
Bill.
Bill, why don't you head down with the A to Z, Bill? Let's give Bill a hand. Down you come, Bill. Bill, very good to meet you. Hello, Bill. I'd like you to come over to the mic for me. And there's a highlighter pen. I've just put that table there, and there's a highlighter pen there for you as well. Little tip, you want to take your coat off in the theatre, or else you won't feel the benefit. Here's what I want you to do. Actually, I won't even look. I want you to go to the index at the back of the map, all right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you, because basically what I've learned is the index and the grid references. I'm going to ask you to give me any road that you like on the... you're not one of our cabbies, are you?
Yeah.
You are? Excellent. That's great. That's great. You've got a sort of a cabbie thing about you. I want you to have a look at any road that you like in the index. But please, now you'll know, this is great because you'll know this. Don't pick a road that you know is very well known or huge, all right? Try and pick one that you think is pretty obscure. Ideally, one that you wouldn't even know yourself. Have you got one?
Yep.
All right, into the mic. Just tell me what the road name is. Into the mic, please, so we can all hear.
Halkin Street.
Can you spell that for me?
Halkin.
Halkin. Halkin
Street.
Okay, that's a good one. Can you pick up the highlighter pen there? I'd like you to highlight that for me, please, so you don't lose it, and just hang on to that for a minute. Okay, let me just try this again. Can I just ask you just as quiet as possible for a second while I try and do this? Lee, I need you to keep facing the front. Please do not look back here. Keep facing the front, and don't let me look in the book either. If you want to hold it up to you a little bit, that's great. Okay, let me try and do this. Okay, all right. Please just keep facing the front for me. Let me just give this a go. All right, you've highlighted the road. The road again was... Can you spell it?
Halkin Street.
Oh, spell that again for me?
Halkin. Halkin.
Halkin.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've got this right. Okay, Halkin Street. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look for the moment, forget the grid reference, I want you to look at the page you're actually physically on in the map. And so if you look down at the bottom corner of the page in the index, there should be a page for it. I think it's the left corner, I think.
Yeah.
What is the page that you're on?
224.
224! Excellent. All right, hang on. Don't look behind you, Lee. Keep facing forward. All right, there are 5 columns. Please be right. There are 5 columns going from left to right. Which column are you in?
Third.
The third column! Save it till the end, save it till the end. All right, for the moment, ignore the one that you've highlighted, all right? Just ignore that for a minute. I want you to look at the grid reference above it in the index, okay?
Yeah.
Nice and clearly, please read out what it is.
3E84.
Yes, all right! And then, I want you to read out the one below it, below the one that you've highlighted. Okay, what's the one below the one you've highlighted?
Is 5D126.
5D126! Which means that Halkin Street, hang on, which means then that Halkin Street, the one that you've highlighted, is 2E84, is that right?
That's correct.
Yes! Excellent, thank you very much indeed. Lee, thank you so much. Hang on to that, keep it as a souvenir. I want you to go back. Thank you, Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Well done, Lee. Excellent, thank you. So, where's Henrietta? Where are you, Henrietta? Excellent, stand up for me again. So, you chose this one.
Yep.
And you stuck with that one all the way through. You haven't changed your mind.
Yep.
You've been quite strong-minded about that. I'm going to ask you to come up and just make your final decision. Let's have another hand for Henrietta, please. As she comes up. Thank you so much indeed. I'll ask you to stand right there for me. Okay. I'm going to give you a clue here before you make your final decision. All right? I wouldn't normally do this, of course. It's a special night tonight, so I'm going to give Henrietta a big clue. Here is your clue. You're wrong. It's in that one there. That is your clue.
Okay.
Now, I realise, of course, in me saying that, Henrietta's not going to believe me. You're not going to believe me. Why would I tell you it's in there when I'm trying not to make you win the cheque? I could probably guarantee that would make you just want to stick with that one even more. Of course, if you think about it, yeah. So you might think I'm saying this there just to catch you out, just to make you stick with that one. So if you think I'm trying to catch you out, catch me out, Henrietta, and go for that one. Yeah? Or if you think I'm just being honest with you, it's still there. Tell you what, before you make up your mind, open up the envelope I gave you, and I want you to read out nice and clearly, right from the very top, please, into the microphone, what it says.
So 3 brief points before you make up your mind. 1, I told the audience you would pick the envelope on the left, the one that now bears a cross. I then made you pick it. I told you I did this, but despite the fact that you knew this throughout the show, you'll still stick with it and not change your mind. 2, after you've read this out, I'll give you 3 seconds of silence to make your final decision. You still won't change your mind. To do so would seem like a sign of weakness.
Fair point, I think.
3, even though you've just read this, even though I told everyone, including you, which one I wanted you to pick, even though everyone knows you've been making the wrong decision, even though I'm telling you that I always make it happen this way, despite all these things, you are still going to refuse to change your mind.
Henrietta, if I can just genuinely take this opportunity to wish you the very best of luck. For £1,000, are you going to change to that one, or are you going to stick with that one over there? Here we are, 3 seconds of silence. I'm going to give you the 3 seconds. Look at me. 3. Into the mic, please. Which one do you want? Say clearly which one you want and point at it.
I'll take that one.
That one there. You're sticking with this one here?
Yep.
All right. Not the first time this has happened. Slightly excruciating it's happening tonight, but actually congratulations. It's great that this happens sometimes, and you will know that it's real and so on. So no, please do go and help yourself. I won't touch it. Just reach in, take it out. Do show them very clearly, please, as you take it out. Just pull it straight out the top and show them. Do show them clearly. I recommend a gold frame, by the way. It really brings out those chest feathers. Thank you so much. If you want to just reach in there, take out what was in the other one. Take it out for me. And then you hand that straight back, you thief. I'll send you back to your seat. Henrietta, back you go as I wave goodbye to you with a cheque for £1,000. Thank you very much indeed. Henrietta, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you, Henrietta. Well done. All right, thank you. There's just one thing I want to do before I let you actually go. Because I did all that work with the A to Z. I've got it all in my head. There's just one more thing I want to do before you actually go. Where are the cabbies again? Can I just get you to stand up? Thank you. I'm just going to ask you your names. I just need to see you and just hear you for a second. Oh, first of all, I have not met any of you before. I have not spoken with you or met you, correct? No. All right, great. What's your name, please?
David.
David, thank you, David. Okay, great. Let me just need to look at you for a second. And what's your name?
Freddie.
Freddie, great to meet you, Freddie. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, and your name, please? Paul. And I'm sorry, you up there? I didn't see.
George.
George. Great, and not Ringo, is it? By any chance?
Me.
Just look at me. I'm going to go, Paul. I'm going to go for you. Is that all right? Rest of you can sit down, Paul. Why don't you head up here? Let's give Paul a big hand as he comes up. Thank you, Paul. I won't embarrass you at all. You'll be fine. Come head over here for me, Paul. Okay, Paul. These are the pages from the A to Z. These are the pages you can see. I've torn them out and I've literally just put them all next to each other. You can see that really is what these are, yeah?
Yeah.
How long have you been a cabbie for?
8 years.
8 years, great. So you've got a good working knowledge of most of this, yeah? A lot of this is, clearly in your mind, yes?
This.
Just that one little bit there. Okay, well, you've got a working knowledge of the whole thing, I hope. I mean, you guys are amazing. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you this. I want you to hold it in your left hand Great, thank you very much for coming up and doing this, by the way. Just look at me. I'm just going to leave that there and just sort of let that just sleep there for a minute. You can just look right at me. Good. As that just stays right there. Here's what we're going to do. I want you to imagine now that someone's got into your cab, and we're going to play an imaginary game. I want you to imagine they've asked to go to a destination. Right? We're going to call this Destination X. So they're going to go to Destination X. Don't be distracted. I think that's one of the pyros for the end of the show. We'll just keep going. So, what I need you to do for me, just to spend a moment, as you think about that destination that they want to go to, is any picture that you can make of wherever it is they want to go, of that destination, just try and do that for me now. Just spend a moment just forming a picture in your mind, nice and clearly. Okay, have you got a picture now? Mm-hmm. All right, great. Thank you. Just going to put your hand down there for a second. You can just relax that down to your side there too. All right, now you know where the destination is. Let's think about the starting point. Let's imagine you're in your cab, but you're no more than 1.5 miles away from Destination X. Okay? So let's imagine that they get in the cab. Now you can see this guy doesn't know London very well. You can see he's rich. And he's foreign as well. Let's be frank, Paul. Let's not mince words. You're going to give him a little bit of a ride, all right? You're going to take him on a bit of a roundabout route to Destination X. Not for a moment does this reflect on you. I'm sure you would never do this, but purely as a kind of an imaginative game, as a thought exercise, you're going to take him on a roundabout route to get from wherever you are to Destination X. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Great, okay. If I take your hand here, I want you to look right at me. As I bring your hand up, you're just going to let your eyelids just start to close now, just like that. That's great. And as your hand comes down, you can just relax more and just sink right into this for me so you can really sink and just drift. That's great, and just float. And as you do this for me, I'm going to take your hand here, and with your eyes closed, that's perfect. In a moment, I'm just going to touch you on the shoulder, and I want you then to start imagining the journey from the starting point to Destination X, going a roundabout route. Now, the route that you take and the turnings you take are entirely up to you, of course. And you're going to make those up as you go along. All I ask is that as you do it, that you really clearly in your mind visualize and almost feel the turnings that you're taking, whether they're to the left or to the right. So what I'd like you to do is to start that for me now. Visualizing that journey, really taking each turning and just really feeling each time that you take a turning. Visualizing it so you remember this route. Keep going, take your time, you take as long as you like. When you're finished and you've arrived at the destination, you're just going to say, I'm here, and then you're going to open your eyes for me. You take all the time that you need.
I'm here.
Great. Open your eyes for me. Put your hand down. Okay, great. Apologise for holding your hand. I know a lot of cabbies are uncomfortable with that, especially when they're driving. Will you just find where you started? Where was your starting point? Will you point that out for me? Where's that?
Buckingham Palace.
All right, great. So I'm going to put a little cross there at Buckingham Palace. Okay. You're going to talk the route through with me from Buckingham Palace all the way to wherever your destination is. All right? Mm-hmm. Where are we going from here? Just talk me through. We're on Buckingham Palace Road. Do you want to go down there, or where did you end up?
Constitution Hill.
Constitution Hill, coming along there. So I'm going to start to draw the route, and you're going to tell me where we're going to go.
Hyde Park Corner.
Hyde Park Corner. Where from Hyde Park Corner?
Up Park Lane.
Okay, this is the route that you took. Please do not change it. Whatever that route was in your mind, you mustn't change it now, all right? So going up Park Lane, yes?
Yep.
Right to the top?
Yep, to Marble Arch.
To Marble Arch. Where now?
Bayswater Road.
Bayswater Road. We're going to go along here. We're going down Bayswater Road. Past Lancaster Gate?
Yeah, into Notting Hill Gate.
To Notting Hill Gate, right to the end here. So now we're here. Where from Notting Hill Gate?
Into Holland Park Avenue.
Into Holland Park Avenue. So we keep on going straight?
Yeah.
Right the way across?
Yeah.
Right the way to Holland Park?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
To Holland Circus, yeah.
To Holland Circus. Okay, where next? Where from Holland Park?
Straight over.
Straight over. Where to?
Into Shepherd's Bush Green.
Shepherd's Bush Green. Here? Where from here?
That's it.
That's it? So that was your final destination?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit of a roundabout route. What route would you have normally taken then?
Along here and up here.
Along there and up there. So you've taken a longer route, which is great. Okay, so thank you for that. What are we talking? How much would that cost?
£8.
£8 or so, which is a lot more than you normally get for that journey, yeah? Okay, great, okay, that's fantastic. So you end up at Shepherd's Bush Green. Let me write that up there. Shepherd's Bush Green. Okay, and the grid reference for that, can you just check that for me? We're on, just come in so you can check this for me. It's 2E, yes?
2E, yep.
2E and page?
82.
82, yeah, that's 83 that just sort of starts there. So you happy with that? 2E, 82, yes?
Yep.
Yep, okay. 2E, 82. All right. Does that feel fair?
Yep.
Yep, okay, I mean, you started anywhere you like. I mean, actually, bearing in mind you could have gone anywhere, you've gone for a you don't mind me saying, a fairly conservative route. That obviously shows you're a nice guy and an honest cabbie, but that's great. Bearing in mind you had free permission to go anywhere, but you've clearly gone around the houses a bit. Right, that feels fair, yes? Let me show you how fair it was. You've got the envelope behind you there. Open up the envelope. You need to take out a sheet of white folded card. Just take it out and hold on to it. Don't unfold it yet. Just hang on to it for a second for me. Shepherd's Bush Green, 2E82. Yes? Unfold that, show everybody. We've got 2E82 is what it should be. What have you got? 2E82. Spot on. Let me take that for you. 2E82. Have you got that? Thank you very much indeed. Well done. You got it spot on. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Wait. It feels weird, doesn't it? It feels weird because you could have started anywhere. You started over here by Buckingham Palace. And those turnings that you were taking, the routes that you decided to go left or right, entirely up to you as you went along. You were making that up as you went along, yes?
Yep.
It feels weird. Open up the envelope as well. Inside there's also there's an acetate sheet, which you would have seen if you take that out for me. And if you open that up, no, not that, just the acetate sheet. Put that back in for a second. Okay, and what is that? What can you see on there?
This way round.
It says this way round and a red line.
Yeah.
This was the route that I wanted you to take, the last bit of the journey. If you just lay that over it, that is the route that I wanted you to take, even though I gave you permission to go anywhere you like. You still went in a straight line. Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to give you that. You did it perfectly. One more thing. There is one more thing in there. Just take it out for me. Hang on a second. One more thing. Take it out for me. What is that?
A receipt.
A cab receipt for how much?
£8.
For £8. Of course it is. It has to be. That's it. She got back to your seat. Thank you very much indeed, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you all very much. Thank you for choosing 2E82. And thank you for choosing the destination I had in mind. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for your attention tonight. And thank you for playing. Good night.
Remember what happened in there at all. It's quite uncomfortable and very confusing.
I remember a large room, lots of clapping, a brick wall, lights, but I can't remember anything else, no specific incident. It's really weird. I didn't think I was susceptible to things like that.
He said think of a number. I thought of a couple of numbers, and then I thought of my friend down the road who works in a lawyer's office, and bizarrely her name was Charlie, which was also the name of the girl who was guessing, and then I thought of 4 and 5 and that was it.
I'm an NLP practitioner and I don't know how he does that, and I would like to know how he leads the person into saying and thinking what it is that he is. So he does a lot of transference. He's very, very clever at it.
I remember a loud bang. I remember Krishna falling asleep. That was hilarious, but I can't remember much more than that. That's the honest truth. I remember the loud bang and Shepherd's Bush Green.
I don't think I could do what he's done. He's memorised, as I say, 25,000 different street names with grid references. He's good. He should take up the knowledge.
I remember something about mice, or mouse, or something like that.
I've gone blank.
When it comes to trying to tell you what I can remember, there's nothing substantial there really. There's nothing that I can say, yeah, that definitely happened.
No, there was a triangle.
You've forgotten the rest of it, haven't you?
There was, yeah. I remember the end.
I really enjoyed the show, but I remember some of the
The thing was, we were brought here in a blacked out coach. So I was sitting with Jonathan, Ross and Jane, and we were convinced we were going to be killed.
We're hoping we're not in Preston and there's a gang of
Asbo kids with hoodies outside with sharp sticks ready to take us on.
And where are we?